Welcome back, ladies and gents, and in
Cheers.
between to Adult Shit the Podcast with a one.
With a one.
And only Kate and Kelsey.
Hello.
Guys, it's been a time. We've had some time since the last pod, which apparently you guys did not like so much because we only cracked the top 20.
No, we didn't. We didn't crack
No,
the
we
top-
got to 21.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not cracking.
That's not cracking the top 20.
Numbers are hard for me. I have dyscalculia, which is the numbers version of dyslexia.
Well, that's not what just happened.
Solid fucking point. Get you a friend who can call you on your shit. Kate, you come yet? Come update.
I want to do it. I want to do it like I'm on a mission. Like I want to go like,
Kelsey coming in for Kate.
yeah, Kate, copy.
Kate, you come yet?
It's dark down here. It's a lot more complicated than I thought, and as of right now, there is no cummage. However, we did find out I cum ideas.
Oh, this is funny. Tell them what the fuck you mean by that, because if I heard that, I didn't. I would.
Yeah, they'd be like, way to be so pretentious. I cum art, bitch.
I mean, technically, isn't an orgasm its own form of art?
okay, shut
Guys, I'm sober.
Okay.
Wait, no, tell us about the idea comes.
Okay, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna try it out a little time yesterday before a birthday party I was going to. I was like, all right, this is a good time to try it. I was feeling a little,
Horny. You can say it.
I was feeling horny.
Anything in particular get you in the mood?
Grease. It was John Travolta.
Oh, really? That fucking chin?
Oh my God.
Are you fucking for realsies right now?
Yes, I'm for realsies.
Oh.
He oozes sexuality.
Are you joking?
No.
Dude, we gotta do a poll right now.
I was attracted to him in
listeners.
freaking Hairspray.
Oh, Coat.
Yeah.
To me, he looks like a wax figure IRL.
Oh my God.
He just
Sign
looks
me
like-
up, baby. Take me down to Pound Town.
No,
Mr.
no, I will
Volta.
not. I will not agree with you.
You're
on
a
this.
fool. We should actually devote an entire episode
To
to
why John Travolta is
why
not
I'm gonna try
hot?
to convince you. No, you will.
Sorry, my body just did that when you were talking.
Wow, that was good.
He does nothing for me.
He literally lights my fire.
So, what about him made you want to rub yourself?
What didn't? Are you kidding me? He is the perfect jawline. He has a nice little voice. I freaking love him. He can move.
You're dancing right now, but it's a podcast and no one can see you dancing except for those watching on youtube.com/boldly, which those people can also go subscribe on iTunes.
You maybe just subscribe on iTunes. Okay, so anyway, so I was feeling like, okay, let's go try to do it, right? So I'm going, and I'm like, oh, this feels good. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I know what we should talk about on the next podcast. I immediately stop. I text Kelsey. I'm like, hey, so I was trying to masturbate, but I got this really good idea instead.
Which, like, that, I guess, is it just you aren't, like, focusing all the way on your...
I just think, I feel like everything I do, I need something productive to come out of it. So I'm just like, oh,
You're not wasting your
work.
time, you feel
Right.
like?
Yeah.
But-
so if I lay down even to like take a little rest or something, I'm like, but after this, I will do this. I will work on
En contraire, what if masturbating does do something for you? Like, oh, I don't know, stress relief, self-love.
You're talking about a lot of stuff that I pay a lot of money to learn how to incorporate into my daily.
Yeah, you're like, I have therapy, I don't need to masturbate.
Dude, it's just
So it just didn't happen.
yeah, it just didn't happen.
Can I ask how many times you try a week?
No, bitch.
Okay. I once again came this morning.
But I also think that it's like, I still feel like we've talked about this before and it'll come up a lot.
It'll come up a lot.
Oh my God. But like just feeling guilt for anything. Like even if I go and I'm like, I do like, one nice thing for myself, I will feel an overwhelming sense of guilt for it. So I think that this is a long time coming.
Ah, you guys. As a friend, I just know that I'm in the stands rooting for you.
Thanks, man. That's gonna make it less awkward when I do it.
Great.
Thinking,
Dude, I think so many people are rooting for you to come. Like,
I hate that.
why?
It's-
Does it add more pressure, no pun intended?
Yes, dude, no one's ever come from the wrong type of pressure. You might actually be backing me up. How is your sober?
Wow. So, guys, I did 30 days last week of sober
Well,
November.
last week was the end of
The
30
last
days.
week at the end of 30 days. And then the night that the sobriety month was over, I was on a activity with my fuck buddy. It's not a date because it's your fuck buddy and it's an activity. You're just doing things with
I can't
your
wait.
fuck buddy.
I can't wait for this shit to hit the fan.
If you go out to eat with your fuck buddy, you're just eating with your fuck buddy. Anyways, we went to a bar with a couple other friends, and I ordered a whiskey ginger, and then I was like, this is just not the drink I want to come back to.
Sure.
I want wine. That's my drink. That's my
your
brand.
drink.
That's my staple. So I had 3 glasses within a span of 20 minutes, and I was fucking drunk as a skunk. And then I woke up the next morning, and I felt. You know what? I didn't feel hungover, but I felt shitty that night because I was like, oh, I don't like how I am that much when I'm drunk because I wasn't like paying attention to the people I was talking to, and they were talking to me, and I was just kind of like in my own drunk head. And then I realized, like, I think maybe I'm not that great. I'm not as great as I think I am drunk.
Yeah, maybe.
All those years I've been just using it as like a buffer to
Like, this is my real personality.
Yeah.
This is what people like about me.
Yeah, and it turns out
you're
I
real.
don't like it about me.
Yeah.
I think I'm fine sober. So I've decided to kind of extend the sobriety into December. I don't know why I'm
It's
briefing
more of like
everything.
a balance.
Yeah. So like last night I did have a glass of wine at dinner, and then
Yeah.
like 2 nights ago when we were all hanging out, I stayed sober. We went out to a couple parties. And
Yeah. I did not stay sober. That
No. Kate drank, and we went on a grilled cheese hunt.
Friday night, I had like 2 glasses of wine, and then I was good to go.
Oh.
But then, and they tried to give me a shot, and I was like, absolutely not. And then I didn't finish that beer. Remember, I bought it.
Yeah, Kate turned down a beer, or Kate left a beer on the table, which,
Full
God,
beer.
let me tell you something, kids, because I know a lot of kids are listening to this. The best part about adulthood is learning that you can leave alcohol on the table. Learning that you don't have
There's
to
like a couple
chug.
waitresses listening or like waiters listening being like, could you fucking not? It's really hard to carry that full glass back. Make
But,
up
like,
your mind before you buy it.
Think about how many times you've gone a little over the edge past like the
Yeah.
drunkenness you need to be because
Right.
you were like, oh, let me just like finish this shot, or like, oh, let me just chug this. Oh, everyone finish your round. Like, you're not gonna finish that. Okay, I'll chug it. And it's like, there's something about having like a little bit more money and a little bit more knowledge that you
I'd just be like, oh, I don't need it.
I don't fucking
don't
need
need
it.
it. Yeah, it's nice.
But
The next night I got.
Yeah, the next night you got.
But
pretty-
everyone was like pretty drunk. It was
we went to a friend's house who's also a BuzzFeeder,
Yeah.
and his boyfriend makes incredible cocktails, like handmade,
Oh my
fucking
God, so
crushed
good.
fruits and
So
shit.
Freddie and I are just there and we're drinking it, and then I was before we do it, we were like, all right, let's go party. And then
And I was like, I'm gonna go home because I'm sober.
I texted an entire group text of like 19 people, and I only know maybe like 5 numbers in it.
What the fuck?
One of my friends started it for a Halloween party a while ago, and we'll
Wow.
we'll just keep up with it every so often.
Oh,
and
that's
so
funny.
Someone had like we were making plans earlier, but then there was a smaller group of people going out, and they were texting me, but I was drunk enough to be like, I see them, I hear you, I'm still gonna text, I'm gonna reply to the whole entire group.
Nice.
So it's just like, I'm online.
What? I'm
Like,
online?
I'm in line.
Oh, okay.
I
That's
was like,
confusing.
oh, cool for me. When I wake up the next day and I'm like, oh yeah, that was a good.
But also, that's what those group texts are for. I don't think you should
funny.
make yourself feel so bad.
Oh boy, do I make myself feel bad.
Yeah, that's your favorite thing.
It's seriously what I'm the best at.
I get where you've been, but I'm not you, so I don't know what's gonna make you like snap the frick out of it.
I know. Yeah, it's hard. I woke up then, and then I hung out with the same people that I was with the night before. And I guess I thought this was being really funny. Like, I like when people are just obnoxious. Mm-hmm. I love it.
Is that why you hang out with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
This one guy said, like, one of my friends said something to me. I don't remember what it was. And I just went, kidding. I was like, wow, asshole. And then I got Freddie to chant asshole with me at
What?
him. It was like, asshole, asshole. And I thought it was probably hilarious at the time, but he talked to me the next day. He's like, did I like do something? And I was like, no. I fucked up.
A lot comes out.
I just think I don't give a shit then when I'm drunk. And so I'm just like, fuck you. You're an asshole. Everyone's an asshole.
Maybe that's called projection.
Yeah, I hate myself.
Do you want to talk about how we can hate ourselves a little less this coming week because of the event that is happening on Thursday night for us?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, the day that this comes out, we'll have our company holiday party, which every year is a big, huge event. The company puts a lot of effort into
Let's keep
throwing a massive. I mean, we have a great culture here at BuzzFeed. Like, we have a lot of events,
Yeah.
a lot of drinking events, a lot of parties. We celebrate a lot of different holidays.
Keep the morale up.
Yeah, we keep the morale up. And so this is kind of like the penultimate party of the year.
Did you just say penultimate?
Yeah, what's the word?
Pinnacle?
No.
Ultimate.
Penultimate.
Penultimate?
Yeah, that's a word. Isn't it a word? I think it's a word. Siri, define penultimate.
Okay, I found this on the web for.
Oh, it means next to last. So it's not the penultimate party. Okay, look, I'm learning words are really hard for me. I went to public school and then dropped out of 3 colleges. I am
Kelsey,
not.
it's one mistake.
Okay.
And you say I beat myself up. You made one mistake and then you're like, it's because I dropped out of 3 colleges and was never taught
It's
right.
imposter syndrome. I feel like I'm not allowed to use big words because I didn't go to big fancy schools. I went to one fancy school. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. The holiday party, baby, it's happening.
So we're gonna talk about things not to do at a holiday party.
Yeah,
Based off of things that we've done at holiday
or
parties.
no that have happened. Last year's holiday party, I think, was the greatest holiday party of all time.
It was.
The company rented out Harry Potter World at Universal Studios, which, if you guys know anything about me and Kate, we
Woo!
fucking like, it was a dream come true. We had
was
the
a dream
whole
come true.
park to ourselves.
I truly felt like Hermione.
So we got to eat in the Great Hall. We got to ride all the rides as many times as we
Great
wanted.
food.
No joke. I think I rode the Flight of the Hippogriff like 20 times in a row. We
Yeah.
just and we're in like these big fancy gowns and these nice dresses and just running around Harry Potter World shit-faced. Open bar.
That's where I made my mistakes.
Yeah, let's talk about what you shouldn't do. Number one thing you shouldn't do at a holiday party, for sure, top of the list, Kate.
What I did?
Yeah.
So I got really, really drunk and
Pretty quickly, might I add.
yeah, I was just like, oh, no line, no problem. At one point, I was like, give me 2 and just like drank it.
Yeah,
And
they
I was-
can't say no.
And he just looked at me like, fuck you. But then I got like really drunk and I went up to our boss.
A big, very important boss.
And I was just like, listen, you know what? I'm worried about my dad. I'm worried about him, you know? Like, I just worry for his heart. He's getting up there and, like, you know, he doesn't like his, you know, he just goes through stuff and he does so much for us. And I just want to make sure he takes care of himself. And he looks at me like, what?
That's the other thing is
Because
how
I didn't go up and say, how are you doing? Like, I wasn't, like,
Yeah.
you know, pissing around the issue. I was just sort of like, listen, man, let's hunker down and let me tell you about why I'm worried about my dad's heart.
Oh my God. And how did he respond?
He was great.
Yeah.
We talked about it because it was like, I mean, I really enjoyed that conversation. He was like a real human about it because I wasn't
was
up
gonna
there trying to
say,
like kiss ass or anything.
it is
I was too drunk.
It's a weird night, right? When like
Yeah.
everyone's on the same level. There's no like VIP
Yeah.
section where like the bosses get to sit.
Right.
You know,
Everyone's just hanging out.
interns are there. Like there's no power
Yeah.
dynamics at a holiday party, which can also be very dangerous.
Thank God that's all I talked about.
Yeah, because I think I don't know, maybe the number one rule is like don't be the drunkest person at your holiday party the same way you don't want to be the drunkest person at like a frat party or like a football game. Try and always look around and find one other person that's drunker than you.
Yeah, it's a good motto.
Second, just gonna throw this out there from experiences I may or may not have had, spoiler alert, me. Don't hook up with a coworker. Just don't. Don't shit where you fucking eat because you might end up dating them for 8 months and having to hide that relationship from the entire internet.
You all posted pickies.
We never posted pickies like saying we were a couple.
When you're on a couple's fucking retreat.
We weren't
everyone-
on a couple's. What are you talking about?
Yes, you guys went to Santa Barbara.
Yeah, but with other friends.
Couples,
Okay.
other couples.
Whatever. The point is, don't hook up with your coworkers at a holiday party because
I beg to differ.
but like here's why. Especially don't hook up with them if like it's been something that's been like lingering in the air. Don't make this holiday party the time to
don't
do it, to
agree.
close,
I
because
don't
this is what we call an excuse to do it, okay? If you really want to hook up with them
It's
and
the gift of the season.
form some sort of relationship, do it
Oh,
not
you're-
at the holiday party.
Do
Look,
it.
I think it's
because here's the thing. You know they're not an axe murderer.
no, you fucking don't.
You have a pretty good idea that they're probably
Yo,
not an
9 to
axe
5.
murderer.
The guy from Psycho had a 9 to 5. He did a really good job. And I'm not discouraging workplace relationships because we are workaholics. We do nothing but work, so it's really hard for us to date outside
It would
of
be
like
convenient.
our industry.
It's shit where you eat, or
Don't shit where you eat.
Or-
don't listen to Kate.
or you could have dessert where you also eat.
No,
Wouldn't- yeah.
because guess what? Eventually, you're gonna either relationships end one of two ways, baby. You either are together or you're not. And if you're not,
That's
then
not how
it's-
you end. You
Well-
wouldn't end together.
Okay, you either end up together or you don't.
Right. And
And
then
it-
you could be an adult about it and be like,
Yeah, but guess what, Kate? Adults can't always be adults.
you all right, buddy?
No, I'm not all right. Okay, I could handle it. I'm fine with making work. Because then, like, what happens if you get put on a project and you have, a power struggle, or like you're in meetings, or like people find out? Like, do you really want to be the hot goss of the town, of the office?
I don't think anyone cares.
The
that
hot
much.
goss of the off? Yes.
Oh my God.
Sorry. I'm just saying, I think just it's one night. It's one fucking
Oh,
night.
here's one other thing I did at the holiday party. This is a good lesson maybe in general
Okay.
that I learned from
Let's hear it.
Not last year, but the year before, we had a holiday party and they had these, what I heard were great macaroni and cheese balls. And everyone was like, oh, did you have a macaroni and cheese ball? I was like, no. And then I just kept going back to the bar, getting another drink, and then I was on hot pursuit of macaroni and cheese balls for a solid hour.
Nice.
Running around like, have they been here?
Because you were drunk?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I wanted them so
And you had
badly.
like a mission.
Yeah, and then I realized I wasted a good amount of the party pursuing these macaroni and cheese balls, and then I found out they were gone. They were gone. And
Very Kate.
here's the thing: if I had just stayed in one place, they would have come to me. And I don't think
Wow,
that
isn't that a metaphor?
exactly.
Wow.
I don't think it's just about macaroni. I think it's also about sometimes things. If you're just gonna
Don't go out and find it. Wait for them to come to you if it's meant to happen.
or go out and then enjoy yourself, and maybe
Yeah.
the macaroni will come to you.
Maybe
and
it-
if someone offers you a macaroni and cheese ball, take it.
Unless they're your coworker, then
And
let
maybe if you
them
know that
keep
your
their
friend
balls where they
likes
belong.
macaroni and cheese balls, take one for them.
I think it's the
Because
night.
maybe she's in the bathroom and maybe she wanted one.
Just have fun. Don't make it a whole fucking
I'm
thing about
still
macaroni.
mad. I'm still
The
mad
whole
about
night
it.
does not need to be about macaroni balls. Who do you want to fuck at the office?
I can't answer that.
If you had to fuck three
No,
people
no.
at BuzzFeed.
This is an HR
I
nightmare.
know, but it's quite funny because I don't think HR listens to this podcast. So those are our tips for. Those
Jesus
are our
Christ.
tips for your company holiday parties or your
Next week
school
it'll be
holiday
things not
parties.
to say on a podcast.
Now we're going to answer a fan question that came to us from Instagram from a little gal named Casey. Sorry, girl. She asked.
Easier.
Okay, so I have a question for the next episode. I'm 19 and completely inexperienced. Never been kissed, inexperienced. I just started dating, or like being open to the idea of dating. How do I hint to guys that I have no clue what I'm doing without doubting myself? I want to enjoy it, but I also overthink. Love the podcast. It's so empowering to listen to it. I feel like you're my older friends giving advice. Thank you so much, A. B.
Listen, if there's anyone who really can't help you, babe, it's me. Honestly, this is something that I deal with all of the time. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to get that. Like, there's a language I'm assuming that people do. Honestly, and this might be really bad advice.
No, wait, I think we just have really different advice on this subject.
For
It's
an idea.
also like, just because you're 19, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, look, Kate's 28 and she's never came. There's no, sorry.
A whole big bag of fuck you. Fuck you. I have a lot of deep-seated issues, you thunder cunt.
age means nothing.
Yeah,
So,
there's no
like, there's so much
limit.
pressure, especially in high school, to be like, I was the last one to have sex and get kissed. I was 15, but still, I was the last one out of my friendship group to lose all my virginities, things like that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also like everyone is different. You might want certain things that are different than what other people want, and so you could be attracted to different things. Maybe you don't really want someone all that like close to you right now, or whatever. Just whatever it is that you want to do, go ahead and do that. And I think the thing to keep in mind, and this is something that I really have to work on myself, is if someone's not interested in you, it is 100% them.
Yeah.
It's them, and it's just, it's just one thing that they're just like, it's just not happening for me. In the same way that you might not be interested in other people. I think what I would do a lot of times is I would really project my own insecurities onto this other person. I still do this. And so even when there's like an opportunity to like flirt or kind of be with this person or whatever, I immediately am like really friendly. I like call them dude a whole bunch and like, like I just sort of like, I get nervous and I don't know. And I think I just sort of sabotage it from the beginning. I would say what I've been told and like the best advice I could give is just enjoy the experience. If you're enjoying, if the goal is, I need to kiss someone because I'm running out of time and it's not cute anymore and I have to do it right now, then it's not the, then
it's not the time.
But it's probably not going to, the situation's not right.
Yeah.
So if you're like, I'm really enjoying this person and I want to get to know this person more and I like being like close to this person, then
enjoy that.
Enjoy it and like maybe touch him on the arm or him or her.
Yes, body language is so important.
Yeah, just let yourself do what you want to do without thinking I have to do this or I can't do this. That I think is, and believe me, it is much easier said than done.
Oh yeah.
Because it's really hard. I'm just riddled with insecurities and I just hate myself at almost every second of the day.
But you're also great and you also are
That's not what I say it for.
I
It's
just have to
the,
say it.
the reality that I live in.
I need
so
you to know.
thank you.
Love
Maybe
you.
one day it'll sink in. I love you too, buddy. But I just think that you are worth figuring out what you like and taking your time. And it's your own fun experience. And so you don't have the same experiences as everyone else. Fine.
It's fine.
And the other piece of advice is more boob. Show more boob. It's true. I wore this exact shirt because you guys can't see it. It's a podcast.
Your boobs look great.
Thank you. It's a low-cut V-neck from like Old Navy or something, and
It's cute, comfy, not too high maintenance, but it shows off your bod.
I'll tell you what, people talk to me way more because you could just see boobs in it.
Not saying that that's what you should do, but if you want to.
Amen.
And I would say like, just because I started really young doesn't mean that I didn't go through the same thing of like not knowing how to show a guy or a girl that I was into them, but like body language is super important because I will say I think it's stupid to believe that men are the only one that can make moves, although it is really scary to make a move, but something like even just turning your body towards them when you talk or like putting your hand on his shoulder or like putting your hand on his knee if it's wanted. If he reacts weirdly, maybe he doesn't fucking know how to date either. Being honest about your situation, I wouldn't go in like pretending you're a dating expert if you're not. Like, I think, God, honesty is so fucking important in the foundation of just dating, in the foundation of just hooking up, being honest about what you want. And I think it's okay to admit, be like, yeah, I'm 19 and I've never been kissed. And like, that's fine. I mean, it's not something you have to go out on the first date and be like, well, I've never been kissed. But if it comes up.
Oh, and it's okay that if you're not experienced, you don't need to let them be in the driver's seat because you'll still know what you like. I remember like I didn't really make out with anyone at like ever. Well, now I have, but I like when I was first making it, I was just sort of like hoping that he would take the wheel because I was like, you must know what is right. And there, like I always thought there was like a right and wrong answer to all this stuff. And there's just not, it's just what you enjoy.
Yeah. I stand by it's the old movie, He's Just Not That Into You.
That old, is it?
Oh, I don't know. I remember, I feel like I
Well,
remember watching it in
movie.
high school.
Katharine Hepburn was
It's at least 10 years old, I think. But the advice kind of still stands. Some of it's a little outdated and sexist, but I firmly believe if someone is into you, they will find a way to make it fucking happen. It may not be as forward and outgoing as like they will ask you out on a date, but they will text you. They will send you a funny meme. They will find a way to be in your circle. If they like you, even if they are shy, they will do little things, and you have to be super aware of it. But that also
that's
goes
a
with
double-edged sword.
But then you also have to be someone that is willing to put yourself out there.
So I think we also right now, specifically with everything that's happening, I think that if I don't actually know who you're into, but I just think in general it takes both parties to be like, I'm into this, and I think that guys right now are probably like,
I'm not going to touch.
I'm just not going to say shit. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And that's fine. That's great.
Yeah.
But that means we have to be a little bit more honest about how we feel about them and what we want to like happen. And that means that runs the risk of being rejected, which is something I know a bunch about, baby. The fear of rejection is far worse than the actual rejection. It sucks at the time, but then you're like,
it's such a weight off the shoulders. Like, oh, you're not interested in me? Cool. Now I can move
now
on.
you know exactly what it is. It's sort of like if you have a pain somewhere, you're like, I don't know what it's coming from or whatever. But then once you know what it is, you're like, oh, okay, now I know.
Man, you and your metaphors are just so good.
Thank you.
And like truly, I mean, 19, I felt really grown. I felt like I knew a lot. I felt like I had been been in love at least once. I had dated around, but like you will have so many crushes and you will have so many relationships. And there's this one quote that's like, the person for you is out there and you haven't even met them yet. Also, you may not need a person. Like you may not.
Might be a couple people.
Yeah, it may be like friends. Maybe it's a pet. Like Kate
Peter.
has Pete.
I have Pete. I don't need anything else.
We put so much pressure on relationships making us happy, specifically like romantic relationships. And I think as long as you are honest, because the second you start lying to yourself about what you want, it's so easy to lie to other people. You're trying to be like the cool girl, like I'm okay with whatever. And if you're honestly not okay with whatever, the second you stop being honest with yourself, you're gonna start lying and getting yourself caught up in situations that you're not okay with, and only you are gonna end up being hurt in the end.
It's just you're gonna be unhappy.
Communication is key.
That's
Guys,
a really good
we
point.
sing a lot of things.
That's also a really good point.
Just
that was a really
be
good
honest.
question. Thank you.
Yeah,
for that
thank you.
question.
And if you guys want to ask us more, you can always hit us up on the Twits, the Snapchats, the Grams.
Well,
do you Snapchat a lot?
I don't Snapchat a lot, only for the filters. When I'm bored, I do like little.
What's your Snapchat handle?
I don't remember.
Okay, mine's Kelsey Jarrett. Today's theme, go ahead, Coat.
Is getting over things and things we haven't gotten over and different ways to cope.
Ooh, we have had time to learn about things that matter, things that don't matter. I do believe time heals all wounds. I can talk about, like, obviously it's the first thing I think of when you say, like, when you mentioned we should do an episode about getting over things. I was in a very abusive, emotional and part physical abusive relationship. I had a very close friend who she did not like it, obviously, and she was very vocal about it. And I, all the reasons why someone doesn't get out of an abusive relationship. And when I finally did get out of it, I spiraled. I had never been through something like that. It was one of the hardest relationships I ever had to get out of. It wasn't a hard time getting over it. It was hard getting out of that physical relationship. And she broke up with me as a friend in the hardest, oh my God, am I gonna cry? I immediately, my throat just closed up. But she left me at the hardest point in my life ever. I was the most down I'd ever been. I was the most depressed. I of course wasn't acting like it. I was like, I'm fine, it's gonna be fine. I don't care, everything's fine.
Yeah.
And she basically was like, you are ruining your own life and I'm not gonna stand by and watch it happen.
Yeah.
And to me, that was the biggest fuck you a friend could ever do to you. That's a worse betrayal than the relationship I had just gotten out of. And she was supposed to be the one that I leaned on. She was supposed to be the one that took all my shit. And it wasn't until years later that I was able to go no, she had to do that for herself.
And for you.
And for me, yeah, because
Otherwise, she would be enabling you.
I still kind of have this, not anger, I hope she's doing well. I hope her life is, panned out for the best. But there is a part of me that will never, really forgive her. I mean, that's kind of just how I got over it, was with time and time.
Yeah, that's really hard. I think it's also when you're hurting so badly and there's no way that you're ever in an abusive relationship that you aren't, they make sure that you feel insecure all the time. I was in he wasn't ever physically abusive, and we weren't even in a full relationship. I was just like, if I hang around
Yeah.
enough, maybe we'll, you know. And he was just so mean to me and like mean about, you know, all that sort of stuff. So they make sure you feel insecure. So if you're already feeling super insecure, the weirdest part about insecurity is that it becomes your whole thing, and you actually get blinded to everyone else's needs
and feelings and emotions.
Yeah,
I didn't
so-
give a fuck what she thought.
So when they're like, you're hurting me, you're like, I'm crumbling inside.
Yeah.
How am I hurting you? How do you not see that and it's a weird moment where because you hate yourself so much, you can't even possibly fathom that you are putting your own needs in front of someone else's, but you're also not dealing with your needs in like a healthy way. So it's a really, really hard thing for someone to, and I bet it was really hard for her too, to walk away from the friendship.
And that's the thing is like, I didn't see that. Like she was not like, I'm sorry, I have to do this. Like I'm really hurting too. She literally wrote me like an email that was like, I just don't want to be associated with you anymore. I think you're a toxic friend. And I never saw her feel any remorse or sadness. And I think that's why I harbored so much anger, because like a friend breakup is so much different than a breakup. Because that's like imagine if we just stopped talking tomorrow. That's how sudden and like pulled the rug out from underneath me it felt like. But you know, it's been a while. I don't know. I could see us. No, that's not true. I don't think I could see us ever being friends again.
That's what's weird, is that sometimes you get to a point where you're like, oh, I can't actually be friends with this person anymore.
And I don't think I really want to. The end of my story is I was a disaster. I deserved it, grew from it, learned from it.
Yeah.
I'm a fuck up. What's your story?
Basically, I haven't gotten over anything in my life. I really haven't. It's really hard for me to just get over things, because to get over it in my head, it means back to good and back to where we were, and we're right back to this place, instead of being like, yeah, you know, and now we're just not going to be like that anymore. Like there's someone who was a friend, and then this whole thing happened, and now I don't, like, we were trying, like I could feel us trying to be friends, but it's also like hard because there is a place where you could hurt someone too much. And it's just sort of like, yeah, but I'm not gonna do it again.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's
and
not
like,
worth it.
yeah, both of you are sort of like, we were such good friends, but too much has happened now.
Yeah.
I think that what I want to learn with like getting over things is how to look at a situation objectively.
Ooh, girl, preach.
Because it's the second I'm in a fight or a tiff or there's like a disagreement, it's me. I'm like, I did this. I did something bad and wrong.
Wow.
And it's like, even
Confrontation sucks. It makes my stomach hurt.
yeah. Like I feel really bad about having talked about something like a couple podcasts ago. And it was a situation that I sort of looked at because I was like, it was a thing that I was just talking about earlier about like, I thought that because I liked this person that everyone knew, you know what I mean? That they would have to know, and then them not liking me the way I like them, I was like, oh, it's because of this, that, or the other thing. It's just, you see what you want to see, you know? And it's this weird thing where I don't want to do this anymore, but it's almost like I'm so used to being hurt and being alone, and so I just sort of make situations where that'll be the outcome. And even when I'm like looking at people, a lot of times I'll see someone, I'm like, oh, you're really, really attractive, and I'll just be like, I don't stand a chance. Like there's no way I could ever be with you or like you, and then I just get really in on myself, and I harbor all of it instead of just being like, hey, I kind of like you.
So there's that.
You know what I mean?
But you also did something that was, I think, good advice for getting over something, is like apologize when you're wrong.
Yeah. My perspective on it was very much one-sided.
Yeah.
And I think that when you feel insecure, I saw it the way I wanted. I wasn't seeing it correctly. I wanted to be mad. I wanted to be like, instead of just being like, oh, this is unfortunate that this person doesn't feel the same way, I wanted to be like, this person's a bad person and they fucked up. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to be like, I was over here doing nothing. You know what I mean?
It's crazy
like,
how much we blame ourselves and also are victim to our own fucking shit that we do in our head. Like, our heads are scary places to be. There's a lot of shit going on up here a lot of the time.
Yeah, and I could see that's what's weird too, is like sometimes I'll say to my friends like, oh, I fucked up. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm such an asshole. And I could see the pain in their eyes being like, don't talk about my friend that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for me, it's always been that way. Growing up, it was just very easy to take on other people who are around me, like take on their emotions and be like, I just didn't have even emotions of my own.
Wow.
Like at all. It was just sort of like,
Everyone else,
I'll deal with mine. I would just make believe in my room. I would just like act out full scenes, like fully alone. Like really just make up whole story plots where I could get these emotions out. And if I needed to cry, I would make up a scene in my head and I'd act it out and then I'd start crying.
That sounds insane.
Wow.
I just feel like that sounds like so much effort.
Yeah, I'm not well. I don't know how else I could possibly say
No,
that.
but like that just that like I mean, I guess it comes with like you never feeling like you had the right to have your own feelings.
Right, and I would also sort of kind of try to gauge ahead of time what people were going to feel. So be like,
Instead of just like asking and knowing what it was.
or not caring, letting them deal with their own feelings. It was like when
yeah.
someone had a feeling, everyone had to be around that person. It was everyone's responsibility. So that's how I like look at them now, like emotions and whatnot. Is if you're sad, it is my duty,
Wow.
to like make you feel better.
Wow.
And then if I'm sad too, but if you're sad, doesn't matter if I'm sad anymore.
Wow.
That's how it is. So it was interesting too because a lot of the stuff that you think in your head is just such bullshit.
Yeah.
Like
It really is, guys.
Yeah.
And it kind of ties into another maybe thing of advice, but like for getting over things, letting yourself have time to feel things.
But here's the thing. This is
What's the
the
thing?
truth of it. Is that I walk around with those thoughts constantly. It is no surprise to me that I can't figure out basic flirting and basic human interaction because I'm over there being like, run out of time, man. We're gonna start sagging. We're gonna start taking pills. How are your knees? Like, this is what's in my head, and they're just sort of like, this music, huh?
You're
feel
an
like
overthinker.
I'm a fucking nutcase walking
Well,
around
we
being
all
like,
are.
let's analyze that. Where are you coming from? Who was mean to you in your childhood? Did you have anyone to depend on?
But like at least I can't stop saying that at least you're honest about it. And like maybe you just need to be a little bit more outside, a little more vocal to whoever you're dealing with. You have a piece of hair.
Get it. It might actually be on my lip.
No, it's not.
Ow! Just kidding.
Oh, maybe it is. Can I get it? I didn't get it.
Ow, fuck you!
I got it! I fucking got it! Sorry guys, I really needed to take care of that.
My lip's all red.
No, it's not. I promise it's not. It looks good. Okay, let's talk about like romantically, because I know we have definitely different experiences
Okay, yeah,
with
let's talk about that.
I've been broken up with a lot. I've done breaking up a few times, but the big ones, the big heartaches have always happened to me. And I think it's a combination of even when I knew it was time to leave, I didn't want to be the one that did the breaking up, so I would have rather been hurt than just taking responsibility. So then that gave me a lot of time to be sad, baby. Oh, she liked being sad for a while.
Yeah.
The biggest, most devastating breakup I went through, I laid in bed for 5 days taking Xanax and sleeping, and so much to the point where he sent his friend over to my apartment to make sure I was still alive because I wasn't answering my phone. I wish I would have done what everyone always fucking says to do. I wish I would have blocked his number, unfollowed him on everything, and just taken time to like mourn the relationship.
Yeah.
Because I kept throwing my hat back into the ring that he was not accepting. And I kept being like, well, let me try it this way. Let me do this thing. Maybe if I post a sexy Instagram or like
Sometimes, yeah.
take a trip to Vegas and put all that shit on the internet, maybe
Yeah.
then he'll see that he wants me back. And like none of it was working.
Yeah.
And instead of just fucking being sad and like doing all the motions of going out with your friends, talking about it until they're fucking hating you, going to eat, like
There's also like the steps of grief. You were in denial for a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit longer. I think
Oh,
that's
yeah,
kind of
baby.
important too, is like not, which again, practice what you preach, buddy, but it's like the stages of grief and who's to say how long one should last?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what you were in. You were
they
going.
say that like it takes half of the time of
No,
the
Sex and
relationship.
the City said
Said
that.
it, and it is fucking bullshit. I held on to like love for years,
Yeah.
and we only dated for like 8 months, 6 months. Like there were times
There
that
are people I haven't gotten over that I haven't dated.
but truly, and then there were people that like I dated for years and got over immediately because I mentally was out of the relationship months before we had actually broken up.
And it is a change of like lifestyle. It's a loss. It's grief.
Yeah. I read this thing on Instagram and it was really beautiful. And I took the time to even write it down in my journal because that's how much I loved it. And it was like, You are going to have rage when you see him on the internet. You are going to be sad when he finds a new girl. You're going to wonder if she makes him laugh the same way you do, if you have the same little intricacies, if she wears the sweater that you always wore when you were cold. You're going to remember the way he made you laugh and wonder if he does the same things to her. And like, you basically just like how much you will hurt. But the thing you won't remember is the coldness and the reason why you didn't like the relationship or the reason why you were actually sad. You will idealize all the really good moments, and by God, feel all of that, but don't you stop living. Like you can absolutely walk around being so fucking heartbroken, but as long as you are still walking around, you are still winning.
There is also a real sense of clarity in that heartbreak. You know what I mean? I know when I wasn't even dating the guy, but like he was so mean to me. He was so mean to me all the time, but he also showed me the type of attention that I like was not getting anywhere else.
And that'll be,
and that was like the first time I had felt that. And so I needed him to be the meanest possible way to be. Like I just needed him to be super fucking mean for me to just fully like separate. For a little while I was like, I missed his arms, which is weird. I just
you
I just
remember
wanted to
weird
like
little
hold his arms
details.
and stuff. And then after a while I was just like, oh wait, what a piece of shit. I don't miss him at all.
You just miss the idea of him.
I like the attention. There were certain parts that I really did like. He was like,
well,
but
not
then-
everyone's all bad.
right. But I think, I don't know if
Even Charles Manson, I'm sure, had some good qualities. No? Okay.
I mean, I'm sure he was charming. I also feel like you were talking about time and getting over things like that. I think that I wanted to just touch on this. We were talking about grief. So I'm in my hometown. We lost like a lot of friends at different times to like different things, whether it was like a car accident or like an overdose. I remember like when my grandmother passed away, it was very sudden. Like she wasn't old and sickly, like she was fine. And then she just passed away. She was like my best friend. So I was shocked about that. But even still, I was like, but it's a grandparent, right? Like that's what they do. And then when it started to become like my friends and my just different things happening to my friends, it makes sense that I'm constantly worried about death and it hurting because I never really thought about it before. And then I thought of like how scared everyone must have been at the time, like right before, in terms of like getting over that. I remember like going to he was younger than me too, like my one friend's funeral or his wake, and just like seeing everyone there so sad and like crying, and he was 20, and I just remember like having that one moment, like once we all got back because a bunch of us like went together, and once we all got back in the car, we were just like, we've got to do something together. Like let's go do something fun. So we like went to this one place back home, like climbed this mountain and like looked at the stars and stuff. But I think that one of the most important things about that type of grief is, I hate when people say live every day like it's your last, because that's exhausting. And I feel like it's also a recipe for anxiety. Like, I'm gonna fucking die tomorrow. And that's like really hard. And I have a really hard time like leaving people. I constantly think someone's gonna die. Like it's a really, really hard thing to go through. But I think that the important thing is to appreciate what you're feeling when you're feeling it, and appreciating the people like around you at the time.
Also, sometimes like not something you will really ever get, like the loss of a friend or like the death of a friend versus like a parent or a grandparent or a parent, like is different than like someone your age and that like could have been you or
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't know. I can't really speak on like a parent. The grandparent, like that fucked me up, but it was still like enough removed. But then when it was our age, it was also like I was there. It was just that I was there, and I felt like I could have reached out more. Like I'm.
Ooh, that's like the guilt stage
of
things.
And it
or
was
the
just
bargaining.
Like, and sometimes you don't know what other people are going through, and you don't know how bad it is. And I think that that's like important too, is that, and I get like really, oh fuck, now I'm gonna cry. I feel like there was a big chunk of time, like I feel a lot of grief over the fact that I missed out on a lot of stuff and a lot of like human connection because there are times when I could have been closer to people that I lost, and that sucks. And it wasn't even that got me to like go to therapy and stuff. But now I'm like realizing how that really like impacts you.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
don't be a dick to people. Like
Yeah.
appreciate the relationships you have.
Yeah.
Like be fucking you never know what someone else is going through, but
Yeah.
also like it's a balance, right? Like you said, it's exhausting to be like this big fucking emotional thing happen, whether it is like the loss of someone physically or emotionally or
Yeah.
whatever it is. Like that shapes you who you are, and it's teaching you things about yourself, and
Yeah.
like it can affect you in every possible way. The way you now will interact with other people, the way you will form relationships.
There are, of course, it's also like that feels to me like, yes, that sounds, you're right. That's the positive way of looking at it. But to me, I'm like, fuck no. I'm not going to figure out how I can be better because
Yeah.
they're not here.
You can be
Why do I
sad.
fucking deserve to be better? They're gone. They're gone. They missed it. I
Sad.
would like to learn a lesson from it and whatnot, but it's still kind of like, it just feels weird, even though I know it's right and it's a good way of looking at it. It
There's
still
no
feels,
wrong way to feel with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like you're allowed to feel every single emotion,
Yeah.
and that goes for any kind of getting over whatever it is you're going through. Like
Yeah.
there is no wrong way to do it, because what you're doing in that moment is what's right for you.
you see how frail everything is.
Yeah.
A lot of the reason with like relationships, I sort of steer away from it is, I don't know if I could fucking handle it. I don't like, no one likes loss.
Well, they say it's better to have loved and lost than never loved at all. I don't fucking believe that's true, because love fucking tears people apart. It can ruin the way you look at life.
Everything is a fucking mess.
We're all gonna die one day, which to me is really comforting.
I can't think about it.
I mean, here's how I used to be terrified of death. Terrified. The thing that gives me the most comfort about death, and if this makes you anxious, sorry, but it helped me get over my anxiety, is that you don't remember anything from before you were born.
Mm-hmm.
It was just black. It was just darkness. You had no consciousness.
You just weren't.
Consciousness.
Yeah.
You weren't aware. And I feel like there is going to be that comfort and peace whenever you do die. And it's like you're worried about something that you're not going to be worried about once it's over. I truly believe that like whatever does happen when death does come for us all inevitably, that it's going to be a sense of comfort. Like it's going to happen. We have no control over it. And the more we try to control it, the more anxiety it's going to give us.
I think that the one thing that I'm learning with all of it is that no matter what you're going through, I'm trying to take a step back and realize that it's not as important as connection with other people.
Well, it got morbid, but when does this podcast not? Ooh, baby, make that the log line. Guys, what the fuck was that? Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. We nailed it.
We're working on it. We want to give our shout outs for this week.
Yes.
Thank you guys seriously for writing to us. We want to give a shout out to Aloyna.can, Weewa Wang, and Momo Trash.
I would like to give shout outs to the artists, Kendra W. Kandra, Sophie Apple, and Molly Lenahan.
Guys, the drawings you gave us of 8th grade Kate from last episode made us fucking laugh.
You guys nailed it.
We almost have 1,000 fucking reviews on iTunes. 1,000! Do you know how many 1,000 is? A lot. That is, you guys, really, thank you for doing this.
That's great.
This episode wasn't that bad.
It was okay.
Tell us what you want to hear about next time. You can follow Kate at KTP on Twitter and Kate Peterman on the Instagram. You can follow me at Kelsey Darrow on all the things.
And adult shit.
And adult shit. We have 100 followers on a Twitter account that isn't even ours, but thank you, Brooke, for keeping that handle for us.
Shout out Brooke.
Have a good rest of the week, and we will see you next Wednesday/Thursday. Well, hopefully the song had been playing for a little bit longer, so we'll just fucking
I held in a fart for now an hour and 12 minutes.
Do you want to say that again? Because it was really funny.
I held in a fart for an hour and 12 minutes.
I am so proud of you.
Well, if I fart right now, my tampon's gonna come flying out.
Okay, goodbye.